So I quite literally grew up on stage.
Max Shippee didn't start out wanting to be an actor. In fact, he was a chemical engineering major. But what happened before that shaped everything he does creatively.
Everything you're saying just screams that you're a seasoned storyteller, Max. But let me ask you, when you were a kid, did you always know that you wanted to be a storyteller? Did you always, what were your dreams when you were a kid?
It's so funny you say that. My mom is a dance teacher, so I quite literally grew up on stage. I'm the oldest of four, and because of that, it's boy, girl, and we did little partner dances instead of the Shippies. We were the Shipettes, these little kids, up dancing in the middle of nowhere, Maine. So I was always very comfortable on stage, and also, I guess in some ways, from a very early age, understood story in many different ways. We were very much church-going folk when I was young, so we heard Bible stories all the time, and you understand how to kind of take those apart and get a lesson from them. And then as well, just through movement and dance, you realize that story can be told through music and dance without any words at all, which I think is very important. We think of storytelling often as being this thing that someone who's talking or you're reading words and there's a story being told, but there's all kinds of stories that we tell without a word ever being exchanged.
I love this visual. Little Max dancing in rural Maine, but what he says next is the real gem. He learned story before he ever learned writing.
And actually some of those stories can be even more powerful. I'm sure you can think of multiple examples on film or in person where you didn't have to say anything, but you both knew what was happening. So I think having an add to that the acting where you have to take someone else's words, figure out as you can relate as a writer, you take another writer's words, have to infer where they came from, honor the hundreds of hours of work that the author put in to figure out why they say that's not right or that's wrong in a sentence, and why would a character say it this way and not that way. So there's a wonderful thing that happens when you have to pull someone else's words out and really figure out what was meant, and then what you can offer to accentuate that story or give your own interpretation on it.
That sounds like a very actor sort of method.
Yeah, very.
Actors have this unique responsibility. They have to reverse engineer the writer's intent. That's a masterclass in storytelling all by itself.
Very much so. So coming at it from that side, then when I actually started writing, I did have kind of this implicit understanding because I'd been working on the other side of other people's stories for so long. You're doing someone else's choreography, someone else's musical, someone else's script, someone else's all that. And through that, I felt like I had a very good grasp of what I understood story being. And to actually put a little cherry on top of that whole thing, I'm going to give credit to my musical improv coach, who is Tara Copeland up at Upright Citizens Brigade in Los Angeles. She really taught me the most about storytelling because it's a wonderful class, and I do improvisational acting, and I'm okay, depending on the prompt and depending if I'm having a good day or not. I'm not amazing at it. I'm not like whose line is it anyway, or any of the big shots, or Amy Poehler, like those people. But for me, it's an exercise in I have no idea what's happening. Be brave and step forward, and give it a shot. And for me, that's what it is. And the musical improv is great because you literally get a one-word prompt and you do a 20-minute musical based on that prompt. And you have to come up with a hero character, you have to come up with a setting, you have to come up with a villain, you have to come up with like a fun and games kind of thing, and then you have to try to tie it all together in the span of 30 minutes.
A 20-minute musical from a one-word prompt? That's storytelling pressure cooked into instinct.
And the great thing about that is that you learn very quickly how to distill storytelling, in that the hero wants something for themselves.
If you're a writer, tattoo this on your brain. The hero wants something, and they're willing to give something to get it.
So do you think that improv music stuff could actually be taught? Because I cannot keep a beat. I cannot find a note. My wife elbows me at church and tells me to shut up whenever a hymn comes on. I mean,
I love it.
I am not allowed to sing in public. So is this
so
a
good.
learned thing, or am I hopeless?
my brain just spun from your wife to be like, God loves you. He doesn't love your singing.
Exactly.
It's really funny. It's really funny.
And yes, for the record, my wife still elbows me at church, though she does feel a little guilty about it. But some of us are storytellers, not singers.
I think that the storytelling aspect can be learned. There's another incredible improv group called Improvise Shakespeare that does a similar thing. They're just incredible. If you ever get a chance to see them, they're amazing. They literally take a one-word phrase and do an hour and a half. And there's nuns, there's priests, there's iambic pentameter. It's just incredible. But so as far as the singing and stuff, maybe that's a skill that we all can work on depending on where we're at in that journey. But the storytelling pieces are great. And like I started to say, the hero wants something for themselves and is usually willing to give up something to get it. It's that simple.
There's a lot more to unpack here, so if you'd like to catch the whole interview, jump on over to my podcast. Link is in the description below. Also, don't forget to catch Max's book, Moonshine, Path of the Raven.